So hey guys, welcome to my vlog. So we discussed the chapter 3 network protocol and communications. So let's proceed. Introduction. More and more it is a network that connects us. People communicate online from everywhere. Conversation in classroom spill into instant message, chat session and online debates continue at school. New services are being developed daily take advantage to the network. Within this chapter, you will learn about these models as well as the standards that make network work and how communication occurs over a network. Communication fundamentals. A network can be as complex as devices connected across the internet or as simple as two computers directly connected to one another with a single cable and anything in between. Network can vary in size, shape, and function. However, simply having a wired or wireless connection between a device is enough to enable communication. For communication to occur, devices must know how to communicate. Communication begins with a message or information that must be sent from a source to a destination. The sending of this message, whether by face-to-face communication or over a network, is governed by rules called protocols. These protocols are specific to the type of communication method occurring in our day-to-day personal communication. The rules we use to communicate over one medium, like a telephone call, are not necessary the same as the protocol for using another medium such as sender a letter. Rule establishment. Before communicating with one another, individuals must use established rules or agreements to govern the conversation. For example, consider figure 1 protocols are necessary for effective communication. These rules or protocols must be followed in order for the message to be successfully delivered and understood. Protocols must account for the following requirements. The first is an identified sender and receiver, common language and grammar, speed and timing of delivery, and the last is confirmation or acknowledgement requirements. Message encoding. Encoding also occurs in computer communication. Encoding between hosts must be in an appropriate format for the medium. Messages sent across the network are first converted into bits by the sending host. Each bit is encoded into a pattern of sound like waves or electrical impulses depending on a network media over which the bits are transmitted. The destination host receives and decodes the signal in order to interpret the message. Message formatting and encapsulation. When a message is sent from a source to destination, it must use a specific format or structure. Message format depends on the type of message and the channel that is used to deliver the message. Letter writing is one of the most common form of written human communications. For centuries, that agreed format for personal letters has not changed. In many cultures, a personal letter contains the following elements. The first is an identifier to the recipient. Next is a salutation or greeting. The message content, a closing phrase, and the last is an identifier of the sender. Message formatting and encapsulation. The format and content of a frame are determined by the type of message being sent and the channel over which is the communicated. Messages that are not correctly formatted are not successfully delivered to or processed by the destination host. Message size. The size restriction of frames required to that source has host to break a long message into individual pieces that meet both the minimum and maximum size requirements. The long message will be sent in separate frames, with each frame containing a piece of the original message. Each frame will also have its own addressing information. At the receiving host, the individual pieces of the message are reconstructed into the original message. Message timing. Access method. Determine when someone is able to send a message. Flow control. In network communication, source and destination hosts use flow control methods to negotiate correct timing for successful communication. And the last is response timeout. Response timeout is hosts on the network also have rules that specify how long to wait for responses and what action to take if a response timeout occurs. Message delivery option. A one-to-one delivery option is referred to a unicast, meaning there is only a single destination for the message. When a host needs to send messages using one-to-many delivery option, it is referred to as a multicasting in the delivery of the same message to a group of host destinations simultaneously. If all hosts on the network need to receive the message at the same time, a broadcast may be used. Broadcasting represents a one-to-all message delivery option. Rules that govern communications. One of the best ways to visualize how the protocol within a suite interact is to view the interaction as a stack protocol. A protocol stack shows how the individual protocols within a suite are implemented. The protocols are viewed in terms of layer, which is a higher level service depending on the functionality defined by the protocol shown in the lower levels. The lower layers of the stack are concerned with the moving data over the network and providing services to the upper layers, which are focused on the content of the message being sent. Network protocol. At the human level, some communication rules are formal and others are simply understood based on custom and practice. For devices to successfully communicate, a network protocol suite must describe precise requirements and interactions. Protocol interaction: HTTP, TCP, IP, and Ethernet. HTTP or Hypertext Transfer Protocol is an application protocol that governs the way a web server and a web client interacts. HTTP defines the content of formatting of a request and the responses that are exchanged between a client and server. TCP is the transport protocol that manages the individual conversation. TCP divides the HTTP message into smaller pieces called segments. IP or Internet Protocol is responsible for taking the formatted segments from TCP, encapsulating them into packets, assigning them the appropriate addresses, and delivering them to the destination host. Ethernet is a network access protocol that describes two primary functions: communication over a data link and the physical transmission of the data on the network media. Protocol suite and industry standard. A protocol suite is a set of protocols that work together to provide comprehensive network communication services. A protocol suite may be specified by a standard organization or developed by a vendor. Protocol suite like the four shown in the figure can be a bit overwhelming. However, this course will only cover the protocols of the TCP IP protocol suite. TCP and IP protocol suite. TCP or IP protocol suite is implemented as a TCP IP stack on both the sending and receiving host to provide end-to-end delivery of application over a network. The Ethernet protocols are used to transmit the IP packet over the physical medium used by the LAN. Open standards. Open standards encourage interoperability, competition, and innovation. They also guarantee that no single company's product can monopolize the market of have an unfair advantage over its competition. A good example of this is when purchasing a wireless router for the home. There are many different choices available from a variety of vendors, all of which incorporate standard protocols such as IPv4, DHCP 802.3 or Ethernet, and 802.11 wireless LAN. This open standard also allow a client running Apple OS X operating system to download a web page from a web server running the Linux operating system. This is because both operating systems implement the open standard protocols such as those in the TCP or IP protocol suite. Internet standard. Internet society. Responsible for promoting the open development and evolution of Internet use throughout the world. Internet Architecture Board, responsible for the overall management and development of Internet standards. Internet Engineering Task Force, develops, updates, and maintains Internet and TCP or IP technologies. This includes the process of and documents for developing new protocols and updating existing protocols known as requests for comments. Internet Research Task Force focus on a long-term research related to Internet and TCP/IP protocols such as anti-spam research group. Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and the Numbers. Internet Assigned Numbers Authority. So, Electronics and Communication Standard Organization. Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers or IEEE. Pronounced is IEEE. Organization of Electrical Engineering and Electronics dedicated to advancing technological innovation and creating standards in a wide area of industry, including power and energy, healthcare, telecommunication, and networking. Electronics Industry or Alliance. Best known for its standard related to electrical wiring connectors and the 19-inch racks used to mount networking equipment. Telecommunication Industry Association or TIA. International Telecommunication Union Telecommunication Standard Sector or ITU-T. The benefits of using a layered model. Assisting in a protocol design because protocols that operate at a specific layer have defined information that they act upon and a defined interface to the layer above and below. Fostering competition because products from different vendors can work together. Preventing technology or capability changes in one layer from affecting others layer above and below. Providing a common language to describe networking function and capabilities. The OSI References Model. The OSI model provides an extensive list of functions and services that can occur at each layer. It also describes the interaction of each layer with the layer directly above and below. The TCP/IP protocols discussed in this course are structured around both the OSI and TCP/IP models. Click each layer of the OSI model to view the details. The TCP/IP protocol model. Protocol data units. As application data is passed down, the protocol is stuck on its way to be transmitted across the network media. Various protocol information is added to each level. This is known as the encapsulation process. The form that a piece of data takes of any layer is called a protocol data unit or PDU. During encapsulation, each succeeding layer encapsulates the PDU that is received from the layer above in according which the protocol being used. At each stage of the process, a PDU has a different names to reflect its new function. Encapsulation example. When sending message on a network, the encapsulation process works from a top to bottom. At each layer, the upper layer information is considered data within the encapsulated protocol. For example, the TCP segment is considered data within the IP packet. The encapsulation. This process is reversed at the receiving host and it's known as the encapsulation. The encapsulation is the process used by a receiving device to remove one or more of the protocol headers. The data is the encapsulated as it moves up the stack toward the end user application. Network addresses. Network layer source and destination addresses responsible for delivering the IP packets from the original source to the final destination, either on the network or to a remote network. Data link source and destination addresses responsible for delivering the data link frame from one interface card or NIC to another NIC on the same network. The IP packet contains two addresses, source IP address and the destination IP address. Data link addresses. The IP packet is encapsulated in the data link frame that contains data link information including a source data link address and destination data link address. Devices on the same network. Role of the network layer addresses. The network layer addresses or IP addresses indicate that original source and final destination. An IP address contains two parts, network portion and the host portion. Role of the network layer addresses, source IP address and the destination IP address. The source IP address is the IP address of the sending device, the client computer. The IP address of the receiving device, the server, web server. Role of the data link layer addresses. So that's all for the chapter 3. I hope you learned something from my blog. So thank you and goodbye.